Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Monday, April 10th Board of Selectmen meeting. We're meeting at 5, so we need to submit the town meeting warrant to the town clerk for posting by, I think it's by 7 o'clock. You all please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nobody indicated any public comment. We'll go right into the annual town meeting. Most of the items have been taken care of. We will, the first one that was a question on was Article 1, to see if the town will vote for a fiscal year 2023 budgetary transfer for the following. This is for snow and ice. And Rebecca, you have a correct figure?
Yes, it should be the $50,000. We were just waiting for final invoices to come through some of our plow drivers.
Okay, so 50,000, okay.
Make a motion for favorable action.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Unanimous. 3 in favor, 2 absent. Article 1. Next would be Article 4. Jason, you want to read that one?
To see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to acquire by purchase, gift, eminent domain, or otherwise upon such terms and conditions as the Board of Selectmen may determine, the fee, assessment, leasehold, license, and/or other real property interest, permanent or temporary, in, on, over, across, under, and along Uptack Road at 9 Uptack Road. 1,045 square feet plus or minus 3. 3 Uptack Road, 10,050 square feet plus or minus, all as shown on a plan by TEC. 282 Merrimack Street, second floor, Lawrence, Mass. 01843, and dated October 4th, 2022, on file with the town clerk. The acquisition is said land having been determined to be necessary for the health and welfare of inhabitants of Groveland and to be used for the municipal purpose under the care, custodian, and control of the Board of Selectmen. And enter into an agreements and execute any and all documents or instruments necessary to effectuate the purposes of this article, and further to see that the town will vote to raise and appropriate, borrow, or transfer from available funds the sum of money for these purposes and any expenses related to thereto, or take any actions relative thereto.
I'll make a motion for favorable
Rebecca.
action.
So this is for an easement for the Uptack Culvert project. We received a MassWorks grant for $1 million to reconstruct the culvert over in that particular area. There are 4 easements that are required. There are 2 temporary easements and 2 permanent easements. Both of the property owners were notified during the design process, and both of them have agreed to donate the easement in relation to this project.
Okay. Motion?
I made it.
Second.
Any further discussion? None. All in favor? 3 in favor, 2 absent. Next, Article 5. To see if the town will, to see, is it Article 5? Yeah, Article 5. To see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to acquire by purchase, gift, eminent domain, or otherwise upon such terms and conditions as the Board of Selectmen may determine, the fee, easement, leasehold, license, and/or real property interest, permanent or temporary, in, on, over, under, and along 908 Salem Street, specifically that the area noted as Prop Perm Easement E-1 consisting of 34 square feet, plus or minus as shown on a plan entitled Permanent Easement Summary, drawn by Tech Incorporated, 282 Merrimack Street, second floor in Lawrence, dated October 17th, 2022, and a copy of which has been placed on file with the town clerk. The acquisition of said land having been determined to be necessary for the health and welfare of the inhabitants of Groveland and to be used for municipal purposes under the care and custody and control of the Board of Selectmen, and enter into all agreements and execute any and all documents or instruments necessary to effectuate the purposes of this article, and further to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, borrow, or transfer from available funds a sum of money for these purposes and any expenses related thereto, or take any action relative thereto. Article submitted by the town administrator.
Mr. Chair, like the last article, this is for a grant that we received through the MassWorks program. Again, this grant was for about $800,000, and it is for a signal over on Salem Street and School Street. And we are looking to take a very small piece of property that is currently on the corner right near the Nicole's Market Plaza. And it is currently where you'll see the Planet drop-off box. So a very small portion of that is being used for the project, and the property owner has donated the easement to the town.
Okay, and believe it or not, what I read was all one sentence.
I make a motion for favorable.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Nope.
None? All in favor? 3 in favor. 2 absent. Next. Was Article 17. Kathy, want to read that?
16 it is.
What is it?
I think it's Article 16. Am I correct on that?
Uh,
Then renumbering revision of various general bylaws?
No.
Because it's highlighted that it didn't have a recommendation after it. Did you just not write it?
Yes, that was an error.
So we did vote that. I thought we had.
Yep, it
So-
was, sorry, you're correct. We
So-
voted that, yeah.
So it was the zoning articles of Article 18?
Yes,
We didn't vote those.
starting as the chairman noted on chapter, yes,
Is it
Article
Article
18.
15?
Article
18.
18.
18.
What is it?
18?
18?
Mhm.
What happened to 17?
We did vote that.
Oh, okay. Article 18. Kathy, you want to read that one?
Sure. To see if the town will vote to amend its zoning bylaws to add the following definition of building inspectors to section 50-2.1, terms defined. Building inspector, the administrative chief of the Inspectional Services Department in the town of Groveland, who is charged with enforcement of the zoning bylaw, acting as the zoning enforcement officer. Article submitted by the building commissioner. Do you want me to read the note on it?
A motion?
Make a motion for favorable action?
Second that?
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Well, just to read the zoning bylaw reference. It says that both the building inspector and zoning enforcement officer as the enforcing agent for the bylaw. This definition is to clarify that the building inspector is the zoning enforcement officer to avoid confusion as to where the enforcing authority lays. You're two people. Which one of you is going to speak?
Did you want to comment?
Just
Sam?
kidding.
This was just housekeeping, and a lot of times in our zoning bylaw, it refers to the enforcement going to one or the other, either building inspector or zoning enforcement officer. This just clarifies we're one and the same, just wear the same hat, just so that it's clear, because it reads a little funny having the building inspector, if he's not the zoning enforcement, doing that enforcement. So just point of clarification in the bylaw. Unless you guys plan on hiring 2 people, I'll stick with the split personality and do it both.
This is good.
Building inspector,
Inspector.
not building commissioner.
Well, you appoint me as the inspector, which is the chief administrator of the department, but I am a commissioner.
I got it. Thank you. What's that? No.
Well, it says
All right,
that-
there's a motion and a second. Any other questions?
well, yes, do we need to change the wording on that article submitted by? Oh, you're a okay, so commissioner, inspector, and enforcement. All three. Gotcha. Okay, that's fine. Ready to vote.
Motion and a second.
I think I did that, didn't I? Yeah.
No further discussion. All in favor? 3 in favor, 2 absent. That was Article 18.
Mhm.
And it looks like Article 19 is next. Jason, you want to read that one?
To see if the town will vote to amend its zoning bylaws to add the following definition of farm, non-exempt, to section 50-2.1, terms definition. Farm, not exempt, an area of land and its buildings used for grain and the raising of agricultural products, livestock, poultry, and dairy products, to which the exemptions of GLC 40A, Section 3 does not apply.
Okay.
Move favorable recommendation?
Second?
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? None. All in favor? 3 in favor, 2 absent. Article 20. To see if the town will vote to amend its zoning bylaws to delete and replace Section 50-8.2A to read as follows. A lot regularity. No lot shall be created so as to be so irregularly shaped or extended that it is a shape factor in excess of 32. Except that a lot may exceed the required shape factor if a contiguous portion of the lot meets the minimum lot area requirement and does not exceed the required space factor. The space factor equals the square of the lot perimeter divided by the lot area. Shape factor formula, P equals the lot perimeter, A equals the lot area. And what is, Sam, what is a 32? Now, this was submitted by the planning department, by the planning board.
Yeah, it's a combined effort of me and Annie, with Annie doing most of the work. So we used to have a definition that included a circle that had to fit in a lot. That wasn't working well for us because we got very irregular shaped lots. When Rebecca was planner, we worked together to revise that, and it worked better, but it didn't work 100% of the time. Annie did a lot of research, finding a number of towns that found a formula that works well to keep the lots from being overly irregular shaped. And the reason that becomes problematic, if you have trying to gain frontage and run a section of the lot in front of another property, now you have maybe a couple of feet that runs the entire length of the property that either no one's maintaining, or there's issues of who should maintain it, and it just generally causes problems. And it's a way to circumvent the intent of our bylaws. This formula has you take the perimeter, square it, divide it by the acreage, which gives you, we could make that 32 really any number we want. That seems to be the basis that the towns work off of, that tends to make it work for them, so that you can have an irregular shaped lot, but not so much so that it's really outside of what we were anticipating in our zoning to keep people from circumventing it. Hopefully that makes sense.
Dan, we're on Article 20.
Okay, thank you.
Just a question on that. Basically, this would prevent somebody from selling their property and leave a strip like, say, 6 feet wide as a buffer. This happened before, where they'd sell the property, but they'd own a section of the property, sometimes abutting commercial or a industrial area where they would have to purchase that in addition to purchasing the commercial or industrial property.
Right, examples we come across, some of the subdivisions in town have areas at the beginning of the road that are owned now by the builder because they were carved off, and they're not paying the taxes, we end up owning them, and they're just leftover land that ends up being in our lap. Or we end up with something that's very irregular shaped that again causes issues with neighbors as far as trespass, maintenance. You get these long hockey sticks that have the 150 feet on the road, and then they narrow down to 20 and then fill back out further down to meet the criteria of the area plus having that frontage. But it's really not the intent of the bylaw to have you kind of sneak around and make these lots so that they're just dysfunctional, and this helps cure that.
Any other questions for Sam?
No, just to
Go ahead.
comment that I like the math of it. I understand exactly why this would work well mathematically because of the perimeter. If you extend that skinny piece, you're going to drive that perimeter up, and the area won't be as big.
Right.
Yes, so it won't work. So-
And that was
Yep,
early on when
that's
Amy
a
was
good thing.
researching, and she was talking about formulas. I was very against a complicated formula because
I like this
it's-
formula.
This is nice and easy. Even I can do the math, so it should be good.
Yep, yep. So like in our street on Hillview Drive, we have frontage for a property that's down on Washington Street from way, way back. Similar problem, yep.
And that's one of the
And
problems. We don't.
luckily, the neighbors maintain it, even though it's not technically their
If you
property.
got good neighbors, it works out fine, but if you
Right.
get neighbors that argue, then you end up with problems.
We'd end
of-
up with a one piece of strip, not
Yeah.
being maintained at all, because it belongs to somebody
you got
way
it.
down on Washington Street.
So if I don't like you, I cannot mow it and let the weeds grow
Yep,
just to
yep.
spite you.
Well, yeah, yeah. No, it's good, I like
Okay.
it.
Uh,
Make a
Motion and
motion.
a second. Any further discussion on this?
Did we make a motion?
Oh, I'm sorry, no,
I
it
don't think
wasn't.
we did. I'll make a motion for favorable recommendation.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? None. All in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Moving to
I see Article 37 is the next one.
Yep.
Article
Artic-
37.
Article 37.
Mhm.
Kathy, you want to read that one?
Sure, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $7,398.05 from the Conservation Commission fees account 2601-990-45305-000 to the Conservation Commission expense account for the fiscal year 2024, account 1001-171-52000-052 for the Conservation Commission's operating costs or take any other action relative thereto.
Okay. No motion?
Make a motion for a favorable recommendation?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Nobody. Okay, we're ready for a vote? All in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Now we go to Rebecca, is this, that you got highlighted here, is this on the, just under general government, or is this on the whole?
So it's on the whole.
The whole.
For the omnibus, we had an error that was spotted at the finance board. We had transcribed the on-call wages that did not have the $40, and we transcribed the assessor's software incorrectly. So we needed to recalculate. So I thought it would be best to have the Board of Selectmen revote that since the number changed from what was originally.
Okay, this is Article 45.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's just the $40 from the call wages, and then it was 250 instead of 520 at the assessor's line item.
Right, so we made a motion for the grand total expenses, supporting the finance board recommendation. So I'll make a motion for $21,803,462 as recommended for each line item in the finance board column on the omnibus.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second.
Article 45.
Any discussion? Yes, go ahead.
What's the increase in the budget, percentage-wise? Do you know? Is it right up to 2.5?
The overall increase,
Yeah.
it is,
It's going to be more than 2.5 because of the salary adjustments.
I guess what I'm driving at
3%.
is there any money left over, or is it capped?
so the overall increase is 3% from last year, and there's about $2,000 left over.
Okay. And did we use overlay funds, and if so, how much, and any other free cash or other, what did you do to plug the deficit, if any?
So for free cash, on the first page, if you look after the warrant for the revenue funds, so for the other financing sources, we have $50,000 from the overlay surplus, and we have $85,000 from free cash, $5,625 for bond premiums, and then the $40,000 for the intergovernmental light transfer that we discussed at the last board meeting.
Okay. And those were all the available funds?
The additional revenue, so that was about $180,625, and the local receipts were about 1.5 million as estimated. Again, estimates with the local receipts, you never know what's gonna happen. And then the state aid original House budget with their release was 1.2 million. So for a total revenue, including Proposition 2.5, new growth, all that is about $21,805,745.
Is that 1.2 million from the state, is that an estimate, or is that kind of set in stone?
It's the cherry sheet, so it's an estimate. They haven't officially voted on it, so it could go up. Usually it does go up, but by how much, we're not certain.
And typically, it doesn't go down, so we can rely on that number as a minimum, not a maximum?
I can't guarantee that it wouldn't go down, but typically it does not go down. It usually stays at what the governor has put in or increases.
Thank you.
Anybody else? We're ready for a vote?
Yes.
Motion and a second, no further discussion, all in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent.
And Mr. Chair, I think I forgot to highlight, but Article 47 is also one of the citizens petitions that came in later that the board had not yet had a chance to look at as well.
Okay. Jason, you want to read that one?
To see if the town will vote to petition the general court for special legislation to decrease the size of the Board of Selectmen from 5 members to 3.
The rest?
Since the town has a full-time administrator, this article will be authorized the Board of Selectmen to seek special legislation decreasing the size of the Board of Selectmen from 5 to 3 members. This article will take effect only if approved by the voters at the 2023 annual meeting.
Rebecca, you said there was a question on the legalities of it?
That's correct. They will need to go to a ballot vote, so this would just be the first phase, and it needs a home rule petition.
So if it is a yes vote at the annual town meeting, next year it goes to a ballot vote.
That is correct.
Okay. There a motion?
I make a motion for unfavorable action,
I'll second that.
Motion for
unfavorable recommendation, I apologize.
an unfavorable recommendation.
Yep.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Dan, go ahead.
If it's a citizen's petition, why are we voting on it? It's just going straight to the town meeting floor anyways. So why does it need our approval or disapproval?
Doesn't require our approval, it's on the warrant. It's our recommendation, not approval. Recommendation, we recommend on anything that affects general government as the executive functioning board in the town.
Okay,
Years ago, there was a government advisory committee, GAC, and I was on that board with Kathy Kestranellis and a bunch of other people, and I voted against expansion. Number of reasons, but some of the arguments in favor of expansion were ethics rules and requirements for quorums and whether or not people could talk outside of a meeting freely. So if you have two board selectmen members can't talk about any issues, deliberate. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? Pros and cons. In some ways, it allows for more transparency, but it also creates a situation of impracticality. You have to have a meeting every time you want to discuss the simplest matters. So there's trade-offs in whatever you do. Whether or not there's 3 people on the board or 5. If you have 5, you have a more diverse opinions. If you got 3, then you got, 2 out of 3 win every time. So people should think about it. And I don't know who's pushing for the petition and why. It'd be nice if they came before the board and gave some sort of presentation on it. But, maybe they could do that at town meeting floor. But we expanded and now we're going to go backwards. I think the role of the town administrator and the Board of Selectmen are mutually exclusive. And I don't think it has anything to do with it. Whether or not you're 3 or 5, it really has nothing to do with Rebecca.
okay, anybody else? Okay, there's a motion and a second for, to recommend unfavorable on the citizens petition. All in favor of the vote for unfavorable?
I'll vote for it.
3 in favor, 1 opposed. The question 1, the question on that, question 1, shall the town of Groveland be allowed to assess an additional $1,250,000 in real estate and personal property taxes for the purpose of paying the Pentucket Regional School District annual assessment for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023? The question on that was, I thought it was supposed to be a combined for the town as well as, that would be the override, or combined for the town and the school.
No, it's only for the total assessment.
And the total assessment is, so, explain that. The total assessment is all $1,250,000 for the school.
So the total assessment for the Pentucket Regional School District, not including the capital assessment, is a total of $11,442,246. The proposal is that we fund the capital assessment at its full request and that we only level fund the Pentucket base assessment at $10,192,767, which would require us to raise the additional $1.2 million.
Okay, any discussion? Oh, no, that was already approved. So, okay, well, that was just for clarification. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
And it was just because if we don't, the way the state law is, that if we don't vote to put it on the town meeting floor and the ballot, correct, then we automatically assent to it.
Because we're accepting the assessment, correct.
So it's kind of backwards. So us approving it to go to the ballot and for the people to decide is in a way not agreeing to what they handed us. kind of convoluted, but that's our state government. It's confusing. Thanks.
Okay, it looks like we just need to approve the posting of the warrant.
So to set the town meeting date and time for April 24th at 7 PM at the Bagnell School, and then to approve and post the warrant.
Okay. Don't you want to make a motion?
So I'll make a motion to set the date for the annual town meeting for April 24th at 7 PM at the Bagnell Elementary School.
Second.
And can we also combine and post the warrant in that vote?
Whatever, as long as it's.
Do you want me to amend it, or do you want to do two votes? Why don't
Oh,
you
you
just
can
vote this and I'll do.
can combine
and
it. Combine, is there you seconded, Jason?
then- Yeah.
Okay. Any discussion?
Well, so we're changing the motion though, right? So say the motion again for the record then. So we're saying that we're setting the date for the annual town meeting for April 24th at 7 PM at the Bagnell Elementary School, and we are voting to post the warrant for that meeting.
Okay.
Is that correct?
And Jason
I
seconded.
seconded it, yep.
Okay, any discussion on that? All in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you. You take care of that, Rebecca?
Yes.
We made it in time.
It's always dicey.
And we have a public hearing, but that's at 6:30. We have nothing under, approve the warrants. You have that, Jason?
I'll make a motion to approve payroll warrant 2341 in the amount of $182,159.78.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? None, all in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Bill warrants.
I'll make a motion to approve bill warrant 2341 in the amount of $1,384,973.33, which breaks down to the town, $102,592.40. Water and sewer, $22,871.63. Payroll withholding, $78,630.03. Light bills, $98,762.93. Grants and revolving, $49,476.42. And Pawtucket assessment, $1,032,639.92.
Second.
And a second. All in favor, or any discussion? None. All in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. We don't have appointments of the board. We don't have any minutes to approve, so we'll go on to discussion and possible vote. Approved property permit submitted by Eric Dentremont on behalf of the Charles River Wheelers to use the Shanahan Field turnaround only for a cycling rest stop on May 13th, 2023. And we have paperwork indicating what they're going to use.
And good evening. This is Edward Chang. I'm on Zoom.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No problem. I'm the president of the Charles River Wheelers, and I'm attending in case you have questions.
Okay, anybody got any questions?
I do.
Go ahead.
Just, it's a Saturday, and you want to use the parking turnaround area?
Can you hear?
Yes.
Can you hear? Okay.
You
Yes, I
want to
can.
use the parking turnaround area?
That's right.
Where people usually park for the soccer games? Do we need to disallow parking there on that day? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
We don't need it for parking. So what it is we have a bike ride, and we'll just set up a table and a couple of porta potties. And it's snacks and drinks for the bikers. They come in, they rest, and then they go. So it is just a club ride. It's not a race or anything. And it's a long ride, so people need a rest stop, and that's it.
Okay, but what if everybody's parked for the soccer game in that same area. Is that a problem for you?
No, should not be a problem.
Okay, don't we already have
As I
bathrooms
understand it,
there?
we're just using the grassy area.
How long is the ride?
I think 100 miles.
9 to noon.
No, I meant the distance.
But do they need to have permission, like from the Board of Health for a portable potty, or is that, we just say sure? Or do we have them use the facilities at Shanahan? Don't we have bathrooms there?
Um,
We do, right?
We'll ask Rebecca when she comes back.
Okay, I believe we have bathrooms at the soccer field.
That's fine. We're happy to use the bathrooms. We just, we're just trying very hard not to have any impact on the town.
Okay.
But I can relate to the people if you would rather that we use the town bathrooms.
Do you want me to check?
Like
with
I'm
Rebecca?
perfectly happy to save the money and not have to rent the porta potties. But again, we're just trying to be considerate of the town.
Understand.
What was your
Appreciate
question, Kathy?
Well, do you want me to check with the town administrator who's posting our warrant? I would, just to clarify that whether or not we want them to use porta potties on that site or not. I don't know.
3 hours?
I don't know. I've never given permission for this kind of
Mr.
thing
Chair.
before, so I don't know.
And
Mr.
I can
Chair.
address the soccer leagues. I understand Rebecca, let's see, was checking with the soccer leagues and said,
No, do we lose you?
I think he's looking.
no, I'm just trying to read through these emails. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
Anyway, as I understand it, the person from my club has been working with Rebecca in terms of the exact location. Is she not at the meeting?
she stepped out for a minute. We'll get a clarification from her.
Okay.
Just hang on.
No problem.
Want me to let her know that we're waiting?
Anybody else got any questions?
It just, if we let them use the public facilities, it saves them money as long as,
Yeah.
Are they open anyways? I don't know if they're open.
Yeah,
Are they typically open anyways?
on that particular day, yes. They should be, I would think they'd be using it for soccer.
I mean, are there gonna be so many people you could use the extra capacity on the porta potties? And maybe you need them anyways, because you have hundreds of people.
Now, if it's a 100-mile run, bike run, they're all not gonna be arriving at the same time.
Oh, gosh, no. No, they won't.
And they'll be spread out within the 3 hours.
Absolutely.
Is this at the beginning or middle of the ride?
I'm not sure. It's definitely not the beginning.
Do you know where they start?
I should. If you give me a moment, I should be able to figure it out.
Property permit, a copy of it from Rebecca or not? No?
I believe.
Shoot.
Wakefield High School.
Oh, wait.
I'm sorry, where was that?
Wakefield High School?
Oh,
Nice.
well. And it says here you will not need any off-street, any on-site parking.
Right. And we also checked with the police, and they said there's no detail needed.
Okay. I don't know where Rebecca went.
Well, do you want to approve it, subject to him
Yeah,
confirming
we can,
with
we're
Rebecca?
gonna hold this until the town administrator comes back. Can you hang on?
Okay, of course.
Thank you.
So we're gonna move back.
Next is approved property use permit submitted by Paula Figaliski for the North Shore Cyclists to use the Pines Recreation Area Utility Field Number 2 for a picnic on August 6th, 2023. And we have an organized ride and a picnic. Is not open to the public. It's only for club members. There will be about 60 people.
Did they put down the hours of use for that field?
What's that?
Do they have hours of use on that day?
It didn't say. Doesn't say on the paperwork here. No, well,
Because didn't we approve one of the sports leagues for the utility field? Either like the Pop Warner football or something? I thought we gave that
I
utility.
want to bring up item number 5, approved field use permit for Pentucket Lacrosse to use the Pines Recreation Area Field Number 1, April 6, 2023 through June 8, 2023, on Thursdays from 5:30 to 7. We'll bring that, item number 5.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the field use permit submitted by Julie Wisniewski? I don't know, I'm sorry if I butchered that. For the Pentucket Lacrosse to use the Pines Recreation Area Utility Field Number 1, April 6th through June 8th on Thursdays, 5:30 PM to 7 PM.
Second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? None. All in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. We'll bring up item number 6. Approved field use permit by Jeff Meisner for the Pentucket Babe Ruth to use the Pines Recreation Area baseball field from April to June. And that's, looks like April 2023 through June 2023. No times listed on that.
Well, they're the primary users of that baseball
Yes.
field, aren't they? Yep.
Yes.
So, yeah, so they just, when they get their games and practices, they schedule it. It's more than one team, right? Or is it just one team? I thought it was several teams.
You have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the field use permit submitted by Jeff Meisner for the Pentucket Babe Ruth to use the Pines Recreation Area baseball field from April to June of 2023.
Second it.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? None. All in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Bring up item number 7. Approve field use permit submitted by Dan Thornton for Pentucket Regional School District varsity team to use the Pines Recreation Area baseball field from April to May 2023. Practices Monday through Friday, 3 PM to 6. Game 4 PM to 7. Saturday practices, games will begin at 9 and be done by 1. Motion?
But we just have one baseball field, right? We just gave it to the Babe Ruth for April to June.
Motion?
Well, no, there's a conflict unless somebody has this worked out on a schedule. We just voted to give the Pentucket Babe Ruth use of the Pines Recreation baseball field from April to June.
Yeah,
And the
that-
schedule is posted online. And they have to put in the dates and times.
Well, how do we know there's no conflict? Has the Babe Ruth seen the schedule that's being proposed by the Pentucket varsity team?
We need to see both schedules.
Somebody needs to see them. Want to go to Article 8 and come back?
Yep, we can do that.
Softball field we haven't given away yet.
We could do that.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, go ahead,
I
Dan.
make a suggestion. I mean, maybe we should reconsider the last vote and obtain a schedule so that they can coordinate both organizations using the field.
Well, why don't we hold off on that until we get clarification from the administrator who took this information, and maybe she can clarify it, we don't need to.
Yeah, maybe she has the schedule. Maybe she screened
Yeah.
it already.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Item number 8, approved field use permit submitted by Karen LaBelle for the Pentucket Youth Softball to use the Pines Recreation Softball Field from April 10th, 2023 to June 30th, 2023. And that looks like Monday through Friday, 5:30 to 8:30, Saturdays and Sundays, 8 to 6.
So I'll make a motion to approve the field use permit submitted by Karen LaBelle for Pentucket Youth Softball to use the Pines Recreation Softball Field for April 10th, 2023 to June 30th, 2023.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? None. All in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 9. Approved special event permit submitted by Lisa Chandler for the Pines Recreation Area for Groveland Day, September 9th, 2023, and indicating more details to follow.
I make a motion to approve the special event permit submitted by Lisa Chandler for the Pines Recreation Area for Groveland Day, September 9th, 2023. And I thank Lisa for heading this up again. She does a fantastic job. And so does her committee and volunteers.
Second that.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? None. All in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Number 10. Approve a one-day liquor license for Caitlin Alcott at VZ Memorial Park for a wedding on May 28th, 2023, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And you don't have any paperwork on that. Mike, you have anything on that?
Got a folder.
Okay. Yeah, she didn't include it in here. At least I don't have it anyway. You have it, Jason? All right, well, I'll wait till she comes back for that. Donation of parcel ID 52-003-A to the Conservation Commission. Request of Mike Dempsey, and we have that paperwork here. Mike, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. Mike Dempsey for the Groveland Conservation. So, back in February, I gave a presentation about donated land and what our criteria was for accepting it or not. And basically, there's 3 reasons why we would accept a donation: because it's within a protected wetland resource such as a stream bank or wetlands or pond, parcels with a low annual tax valuation that isn't going to affect our overall rate significantly, and then parcels that either abut current conservation land, trail plans, or appear on the current Groveland Open Space and Recreation Plan. So tonight, I wanted to present to you the potential of a donation, which is parcel 5203A, 003A, and it is located on Johnson's Pond. It's about a little over half an acre. It's a thin strip of land. I think you'd see it on the plan that I presented there to Rebecca last week. and it abuts VZ Park. Its annual tax is $54 a year. So I believe that it meets all of our criteria. The commission is excited about this particular parcel, again, because it abuts VZ Park, and it kind of fits in with our plan of a round Johnson's Pond Trail someday. So there's another piece of the puzzle. And so the commission is happy to accept the donation, and we are asking the selectmen to also approve it. I can take any questions.
Any questions for Mike? Kathy?
No? So,
Dan?
good deal.
What are the taxes on it?
$54 a year.
$54?
$54 a year.
Can we afford that?
Well, you know, I mean, obviously, every little bit helps, right?
Mike, on this map that you gave us,
Yes.
this is the area with the hash lines?
It's the thin little strip that goes from Coleman Road down 4 parcels on the other side of Washington Street.
Okay. Thank you. Somebody want to make a motion?
Yes.
Go
Make
ahead.
a motion to accept the donation of parcel ID 52-003-A to the Conservation Commission. I assume it's to be conservation land? Yes.
I'll second that. Any further discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Is the land open for public use, and what, if
Oh, yeah.
any, restrictions are they? Can you hunt on it? Can you walk across it? Do you need a permit, or is it kind of, restricted in any way?
No, it actually, right now, it's, privately owned land, so people are hesitant to go on there, but it actually is a great place to fish from. So that will be one use for it. The other use for it is, as I say, eventually there'll be a trail along there, so you don't have to walk on Washington Street.
Is it waterfront? Does it have frontage on the pond?
Yeah. The whole thing is frontage on the pond. So it's a great spot for fishing. Like I say, people do fish from there already, but, since it's private land, they're probably some people are hesitant to use it that way because they're trespassing now.
What's the width of that, approximately?
Oh, it's...
The widest section?
Oh, the widest section...
10 feet?
No, it's wider than that. It's probably about 50 to 75 feet at the furthest end. It starts out at about 10 feet, or even maybe 8 feet, right at the culvert that goes under Washington Street.
Isn't that the area that we had to take down some trees because they were dying, hanging over the road?
Could be, yeah. Because there's a lot of white pines in there, that they eventually fall apart.
Okay. Dan, anything else?
No, thank you.
No. Kathy?
Nope.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? 3 in favor, 2 absent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Here,
And
approach of our town administrator.
we're waiting for Rebecca.
So,
Rebecca, we had a couple questions on the discussion and possible vote, item number 2.
use this.
Approved property permit submitted by Eric Denterment on behalf of the Charles River Wheelers to use Shanahan Field turnaround for a cycling rest stop. Selectman Castronellis questioned about the porta potties. Are they needed? Are the porta potties allowed on the property without a permit from the Board of Health?
Does he wants to does he need to bring porta potties? So we have
Doesn't need a Board
bathrooms.
of Health
Yeah,
permit for a
but
porta
we
potty.
have bathrooms there already.
The soccer league takes care of those bathrooms, so
Oh, okay, so you would want him to bring his own portable bathrooms?
the soccer field has asked
Okay.
if they're gonna use their own facilities.
Okay, and he's waiting for us. Hi.
Nice pen.
So, I guess the answer to the question is yes, they do want, the soccer field wants you to provide your own bathroom usage. So I'll make a motion for, to approve the property permit submitted by Eric Detremont?
Dentremont.
Thank you. On behalf of the Charles River Wheelers to use the Shanahan Field turnaround for a cycling rest stop on May 13th, 2023, and to provide portable bathrooms for the rest stop.
Okay, and I'll second that. Any further discussion? None, all in favor? 3 in favor, 2 absent. You're all set.
Great.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thanks for hanging in.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Okay, oh, where'd you go now?
Did everyone sign that thing?
Um,
Yeah, that was it. That should be the end of it. They just have to get stamped, probably. We'll take a short recess. We can sign all the warrants.
yeah, but
Okay. One less thing to do.
what's that? I'm sorry.
Are you taking a recess?
No. Not a scheduled one, we're just hoping that we'll get a couple people back. Okay, thank you, everybody, for hanging in there. Rebecca, we had a couple of questions. It was approved property use permit submitted by Paula Figaleski for the North Shore cyclists to use the Pines Recreation Area, Utility Field Number 2 for a picnic. It was, the question came up about the times on that. There's 60 people, not open to the public.
Did we give that field to a sports thing, like the Pop Warners or something?
No, there is no conflict with any other
Okay.
sports at
That
that
was one
particular
of my
time.
questions. Okay.
Ask a question?
Hmm?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Rebecca, just as a matter of course of business, I mean, when these are submitted, these applications, you look at the calendars? Because we had, 2 baseball organizations trying to use the Pine. So is that all screened out ahead of time?
So we have an online booking app on our website, and so in order to reserve the field, you can't reserve it when it's already reserved.
Okay.
So it has an automatic default in there, so they would have to contact me, and they'd have to ask specifically if there was a reason that they couldn't utilize it, or they'd have to choose another date. So you can't reserve it when it's already been approved for another use.
But can you reserve, well then, if you can reserve it, then why do they come before the Board of Selectmen on a permit? Why don't you just go there and reserve it?
We could give the authority to the town
Right.
administrator to handle it.
So they reserve it, and it's still not approved. It's marked yellow, and then it doesn't turn green until the Board of
Oh,
Selectmen approve it.
Gotcha, it's preliminary.
Exactly, but it
Okay.
reserves the date so
All
that
right.
nobody can come in
Okay.
afterwards.
All right, thank you for clarifying that.
This is the June, no, this is the August 6th, 2023. Organized ride and picnic, 60 people at the Pines.
They were just the times of the
Oh,
picnic.
it's 8 a.m.
To
Um,
the picnic?
Well, I think that's they set up, they did this last year, so they set up,
Oh, okay.
and then they go for their ride, and then they end back at the Pines.
Oh,
And it
okay.
goes from 8 a.m.
Okay.
till,
You got 8 to what?
8 a.m. till 2 p.m.
Okay.
Okay. Uh,
So,
We have a motion on that?
yeah, make a motion to approve the property use permit submitted by Paula Bilgelski for the North Shore Cyclist to use the Pines Recreation Area Utility Field number 2 for a picnic on August 6, 2023, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Second that.
Motion and a second, any discussion? None, all in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Approved property use permit, Megan Stevens for Ride to End ALZ New England for Elm Park for a cycling rest stop on June 3rd, 2023, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Volunteers handing out water, snacks, small table set up in restroom. Dan, go ahead.
I don't have any.
Oh, I thought you raised your hand. Okay. Any questions?
I had forwarded a question. I just was wondering, because it's a Friday, and it's downtown with the traffic, was there any consideration to the traffic of the buses and the people getting to work and to school, and Elm Park being set aside for, how are they gonna come through to the rest stop? Down School Street? Or, I don't know.
What day of the week is that, Rebecca?
It's a Friday.
The Friday. I do know that we spoke with the police chief, and he had no concerns about their activity. They had done it last year. They
Oh,
originally had
okay.
reached out to him first, but they
So-
did want to make sure that they knew so that they could have an officer available if necessary in order to guide traffic.
A motion?
Oh, okay, so there will or won't be a police officer? They're not anticipating it? They're only gonna do it if they need it?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to approve the property use permit for Megan Stevens for the Ride to End ALZ New England for Elm Park for a cycling rest stop on June 3rd, 2023, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
I second that.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? None, all in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. The other question came up, item number 7, Rebecca, on the field use permit submitted by Dan Thornton for the Pentucket School District varsity team for the use of the Pines Recreation Area baseball field from April to May. The question was, would there be a conflict with item number 6, the Babe Ruth Pentucket?
I did have a conversation with the gentleman who does the Pentucket Babe Ruth, and they said that in prior years that they work around the Pentucket Regional School District schedule, and that they coordinate with them. So
Okay.
they've been doing it for
okay.
years prior.
We have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the field use permit submitted by Dan Thornton for Pentucket Regional School District varsity team to use the Pine Recreation area baseball field from April to May 2023.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? None. All in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 10 was the next. Approve one-day liquor license for VZ Park for May 28th wedding, 5 to 9 p.m. And the question was, did they submit the paperwork?
Yes, they've submitted all of the paperwork and are working with the building commissioner concerning a tent.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the one-day liquor license for Caitlin Alcott at VZ Memorial Park for a wedding on May 28th, 2023, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? None. All in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent.
Mr. Chair, if we could go back to the public hearing.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
thank you. Thank you very much. Public hearing, the Groton Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on May 10th, 2023 at 6:30 PM at the Town Hall, 183 Main Street, Groveland, Mass. On the application for transfer of an on-premises alcohol restaurant all alcohol beverage license from T&B Clifford LLC, doing business as Pub 97, 935 Salem Street, Groveland, Mass. To Carboni Pub 97 LLC, doing business as Pub 97, 935 Salem Street, Groveland, Mass. Peter M. Carboni, the proposed manager. Description of the premises: two-story building with business on the first floor, approximately 3,888 square feet. No, we'll open the public hearing. Is Mr. Carboni here?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Sure, you can go up to the podium. Can you just explain, you're purchasing the building? You're purchasing the business?
We're purchasing the business, it's an asset purchase. Our ultimate goal is, down the road, hopefully sooner than later, we are going to try to purchase the building and land as well. Just can't afford to do that.
Okay. Anybody on the board got questions for Mr. Carboni?
So you're going to take over and run the business?
Correct.
Okay.
June 1st is
Okay.
the date that we slated to be the final transfer when of ownership.
Okay.
You know, we've got some stuff that we need to do. He had asked to, you know, can we do it on June 1st? Let's get through the town of Groveland hearing. Our paperwork's basically done.
Okay,
We're
good.
just gonna meet, once we get it done here, and then with the state, everything is well. We just said, let's use June 1st. That's right.
Sounds great.
Anybody else got any questions for Mr. Carboni?
No, just comments. Welcome to the town. I wish you luck.
Thank you very much.
I do. Good luck. Hope you make a lot of money and prosper.
We wanna have bills to pay, and
I understand, you know, it's tough.
if you don't know, we own Hazel Beef Company downtown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You actually know it yourself.
Yeah,
Waited
been there.
No.
So we're gonna try to run both businesses. I lease there, and, you know, sometimes leasing can be uncertain, depending on your relationship with your landlord and things like that. You know, there's a lot gonna be going down in Haverhill, especially literally in our backyard and all around us for about the next 3 or 4 years. We toyed around, you know, with Terry, who owns Pub 97 now. He and I have developed a good relationship over the years. He's gonna be staying on, working for us,
Okay.
helping us, show us the ropes, and we've already actually started doing all that. We already started working in the pub, kitchen, bartending, waitressing, waitering.
Yeah.
So we've just, you know, we have a couple other things in mind that we could possibly do there. We definitely want to maintain the restaurant and pub. And there's other things we could potentially do there as well.
Sounds good.
Go ahead.
Potentially take it in the direction of Tuckaway Tavern? So they have the,
They have a lot of space. They got a lot more square footage than, that property would allow. I mean, I think there is some allowance for some additions or something like that. I wouldn't say quite to the scale of the way, but something along that line, yes. Yes.
that would be nice.
Uh,
That's a lot of sentiment we've got when we've shared that with people. Everyone thinks it's a home run, but gotta be realistic about everything too.
Are you planning to do outdoor seating?
So, no, we're not this far. I guess there is some red tape, you have to do that to do it right. We've had a lot of people ask us that, and everyone says we want outdoor seating, but then when you provide outdoor seating 6 or 7 days a week, and you're only generating so much money from the outdoor seating and your expense with tents and putting stuff outside and hiring extra servers and stuff like that, sometimes it can be questionable about whether or not.
And that wasn't factored into that liquor license application.
Yeah.
Okay.
To know that.
Kevin put it, we'd have to come before, I think, you
Yeah,
guys to request
so just
that we put seats outside.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
So we would, if we would come, if we thought we saw an opportunity there, we'd put a request in, come ask if we could do that.
So it's just the status quo right now, kind of. It's just different management. You're not going to change anything in terms of seating capacity.
Not at all.
Yeah, the inside capacity is what it is.
Anybody else on the board got a question? Anybody in the audience to speak in favor of the request? Anybody in the audience to speak in favor? None? Anybody in the audience to speak against it? Everybody's shaking their head no. Yes. Could you go to the podium, please? And
He was just
I-
waiting for you to say something.
identify yourself.
I'm Leah Crane from River Pines Drive. I'm just in support of record booking anyway, so I'm happy with having them here.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, so nobody else to speak in favor, nobody to speak against, so we take a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second,
Second.
and a second. All in favor? Close the public hearing. I think, Rebecca, we need to take a vote to grant or depending on the... Okay, motion, you make a motion to approve or disapprove?
Make a motion to approve the transfer of an on-premises restaurant all alcohol beverages license from T&B Clifford LLC, DBA Pub 97, 935 Salem Street, Groveland, Mass., to Carbone Pub 97 LLC, DBA Pub 97, 935 Salem Street, Groveland, Mass. Peter M. Carbone is the proposed manager.
Second that.
And a second, and Rebecca, all the paperwork it looks like you have listed here is, it's all up to date, all submitted. Okay, any discussion?
Yeah, is this
Yes.
subject to ABC approval, or is it, it's all conditional upon transfer?
Yeah, it looks
approval
like,
by the state?
It is. So we filled everything out. I think the next step is, if we get approval from you, we have to send it to the state.
Gotcha, step by step, right?
Finalize it.
Thank you.
okay, nobody else? We'll take a vote, all in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you and good luck.
Welcome.
Very much.
Welcome. Up together, clap.
Okay, what do I do with my paperwork here? Oh,
Glad to see your business keep going.
Okay. Next item is town administrator evaluation. Well, before we go over that, Rebecca, I need to ask you, do you want that in executive session or open? Open's fine. Okay, you opt for an open session. Kathy, you want to start off?
You want me to read the summary report?
Yeah, you can if you want.
Okay, so this is the first time the Board of Selectmen has ever done this thing. So, can you hear all right? So this is the first time we've approached an evaluation, I think, of any personnel in the town. So we did look around at other towns, and we did ask the Department of Revenue did our financial management review, and during the interview with them, I asked them if they could assist us with some type of a template to follow to do this kind of an evaluation. And they provided one from the town of Auburn, I believe it was Auburn. And it was straightforward, it was simple. It provided, each member of the board was provided with the same document asking comments in several, was it three, four, was it four? I think four primary categories. The first being a relationship with the Board of Selectmen, then town administration, C, budget and finance, and D, community relations. And each individual member who had the time filled out the form, and then I gathered the forms together and made a summary table of the evaluations in all these categories, and then, following the template from Auburn, constructed the summary evaluation report, and that is what is before the board tonight to accept if they so choose. This is the first summary evaluation for Groveland's newly created position of town administrator. As part of this evaluation, each member of the Board of Selectmen was asked to complete an evaluation form consisting of ratings in four categories: relationship with Board of Selectmen, town administration, C, budget and finance, and D, community relations. Each category includes a list of items and a rating scale ranging from 1 to 5, with 1 indicating unsatisfactory, 2 as needs improvement, 3 as satisfactory, 4 as excellent, and 5 as distinguished. This same evaluation form has been used in other Massachusetts municipalities and was recommended to the Board of Selectmen by the Department of Revenue as part of the town's financial management review. In addition, Town Administrator Rebecca Oldham was asked to submit evidence of her activities and accomplishments in the four categories. Appendix A of this report includes the completed town administration evaluation forms. The town administrator's evidence is included in Appendix B. It should be noted that during this first year of service, the Board of Selectmen did not vote specific goals for the town administrator, but instead indicated as the year progressed by votes at Board of Selectmen meetings the priorities that the board expected the town administrator to address. It is my opinion that based on my knowledge of the board's vote, the town administrator accomplished all goals as requested throughout the first year. And then after careful review and consideration of the evaluation forms, I recommend an overall rating of excellent in all categories. I note that in the area of community relations, Ms. Oldham received a rating of distinguished from all evaluators. It is no easy task to be hired as the first town administrator in any town. But in Groveland, this was further complicated by the fact that the town had been operating for about 6 months without either a finance director or a town administrator. There were numerous backlogs of work that needed to be addressed, in addition to turnover in key positions and establishing working relationships with town departments, neighboring towns, and state legislative representatives. Ms. Oldham had to carve out a new path in all of these areas, and she did so with integrity, patience, professionalism, and a positive attitude. Below are some highlights from the evaluation process. So I lifted some quotes from various forms. Under relationship with the Board of Selectmen, it was stated, Rebecca does an excellent job keeping us informed on all issues of town and its employees. A second quote, due to Rebecca's steadfast support and expertise, the Board of Selectmen is on schedule and getting things done. And another one, I would like to see Rebecca's advice become more directional to aid the selectmen. Under B, town administration, one comment, the town is lucky to have someone who is as frugal as Rebecca but still achieves an incredible amount. Another comment, Rebecca puts in a lot of hours every week performing her duties as a town administrator. Third comment, during her first 13 months, the town administrator has created strong working relationships with neighboring towns. In closing, it has been my honor and pleasure to serve as a member of the Board of Selectmen these past 4 years. As I look back to November 2021, when the Board of Selectmen voted unanimously to appoint Ms. Oldham as our first town administrator, I am amazed at how quickly the time has passed and how much has been accomplished by our first town administrator. I took on this task of summarizing the first evaluation without reservation, as I knew that this initial evaluation would document the excellent start made by our town administrator. I recognize and applaud the long hours and extensive work that went on behind the scenes by Ms. Oldham and her team to get our town back on track during a period of strained finances and personnel turnover. In all instances, Ms. Oldham never took credit for herself and is always the first to recognize achievements by town employees and/or departments. I recognize that there is more to do, but I can state unequivocally that I have the utmost confidence in Ms. Oldham's ability and expertise to fulfill her responsibilities as town administrator during her second year and beyond. I respectfully submit this summary report of the town administrator evaluations to my fellow boards of the selectmen for review and acceptance. Sincerely, Kathleen Castronellis. And then the rest of it is just backup.
Okay. I don't think we need to take a vote on this, do we?
I do feel we have to accept it, yes.
Accept it?
Yes.
Okay, motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the summary.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? None. All in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you. Moving on.
That's great.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's for Ed, of course.
Town administrator time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have much other than to remind you that the town meeting is on April 24th, and we will be meeting prior to that meeting. I wasn't sure what time you have 6 o'clock on the agenda, but I wasn't sure if that would be satisfactory with the meeting itself.
Town meeting is at 7?
Yes,
And there's no need of a special town meeting.
correct.
So the town meeting is at 7. What time do we want to meet? The Board of Selectmen prior to? Any
6 o'clock works for
suggestions?
me. 6 o'clock works for me.
6 o'clock works for Jason. Anybody else?
6:30.
6:30. Well, we don't have,
There's nothing to do, we're gonna be hanging around.
We'll have, there's 2 items. There's one that I know will be on the agenda is the constable, the town clerk was looking for the board to vote on that. I didn't have enough time to put that on tonight's agenda, but we'll need it the day before, and then you'll also be meeting our new town council representation that evening as well to go over the process. But other than those 2 items, like Selectman McDonald said, there's not much of
that we generally can get through that in pretty good time. 6:30 sounds reasonable. Everybody okay with that?
Sure.
Jason, you okay with
Oh,
6:30?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we don't need to take a vote on that. Yeah, we probably do, don't we?
Gives people more time to get over there, too. We're always fighting for a quorum there, so, I mean, we gotta flag people down on 97 and, call the fire department, the police department.
This is our meeting before that. The town meeting's still at 7. We don't need to be here for our meeting.
People should come to our meeting. There should be 100 people, or we shouldn't have a quorum.
I don't know.
Need a bylaw change.
All right, we don't need a vote on that. We'll just meet at 6:30.
Thank you.
Selectmen's time and reports. Dan, do you have anything?
No.
Jason?
Yeah, I really want to thank Kathy for putting that summary together. I know it was a tremendous amount of work. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
Uh,
Glad to do it.
Thank you. Kathy, do you have anything?
Yes, actually, I was just wondering, today as I left my street, I noticed, 2 small children, as usual, riding bicycles to Washington Park. And I know there's been some traffic diverted, right, because of the Salem Street. But we've never had any signage or anything that there's a park just around that bend. And a lot of children do ride their bicycles to it. And, you know, drivers today, I don't know that if they didn't know there was a park there, if you're coming around the bend, are they gonna be, should there be a warning sign or something, or, you know, just, it is a park that a lot of children do ride their bicycles to. They don't usually look very much around in traffic. And I just thought, we've never had a sign that says, you know, park or anything, watch out. I don't know what kind of sign would be the appropriate. I don't want a million signs, just something that would alert people coming up on that piece of Center Street that there is a park just around that bend.
There's a board that the Water and Sewer Commission put out advising the detour, but I don't know if there's any other signage, but I can work with the Water and Sewer Superintendent as well as the police chief and see if there's any additional signage.
Right, well, wouldn't just be for Detroit, it'd be like, because when people come up that bend, they don't know there's a little park right around the corner.
Just in general, you mean?
Yeah, in general, I mean,
You want to discuss that
a lot
with
of children do
the
ride their
highway
bikes to that
superintendent? And
yeah.
see if he thinks there's need for it. Been there forever.
I can do that.
Okay, hey Kathy, anything else?
Nope, that was kind of it.
I don't have anything. Old or unfinished business, don't have anything. Other items not reasonably anticipated at the time of posting. I don't think we have anything. Correspondence, we have Board of Selectmen meeting minutes, March 13th, 2023. Board of Selectmen meeting minutes, March 27th, 2023. We also have a flyer from BZ Park Flea Market flyer, April 29th, 2023, 8 to 2, with a rain date of the next day, on Sunday. I think that was it. Historical Society French-American War presentation flyer, April 12th, 2023, Wednesday night. And the other correspondence we have from the highway superintendent, that we had a worker from the highway department resign. He didn't give us a letter of resignation. He just turned in his keys and remote access to the foreman on Monday, March 23rd, and it was done. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Next regularly scheduled, oh, you had something else?
There's candidates night, I believe is Thursday the 27th.
Yes, Valerie invited us.
Thursday, the 27th, what's that, 7 o'clock?
Trying to pull up the email now.
And Jason's looking it up.
Looking it
And Kathy's going to try and beat him.
up. It's a race. No. Let me see. I might have put it on the, on my calendar, because I forget everything. I have it down for 7 PM.
7 o'clock. Candidates night, Thursday,
Right.
the 27th, usually in this room, 7 o'clock. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make
Motion to
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn at 7:58.
How about 6:58?
6:58.
Yeah.
Okay, and a second, thanks
Second.
Dan, and all in favor of adjournment? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you.
Rec-